Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time I am with...
Jack Verma, nice to meet you. Thanks for the invite.
Of
And
course,
yeah,
of
I'm happy
course.
to see you.
Yeah, thanks for coaching me. I've always seen you like
Uh,
on the European streams over the years. Like I don't know how many tops
yeah,
you have, but it's got to be a lot. I've seen you a lot.
I think I have earned 17 so far, but I'm not 100% sure. Something about this.
Okay. Solid numbers, solid numbers.
Yeah, I'm always playing the control decks and getting far with it. But I also really like the combo decks, so
Mhm.
it depends on the decks, but I love everything.
Mhm. You want to shout out your coaching or your soon spreadsheet coming out before we hop in?
Sure. I just started coaching 1 month ago, and it works really well, and I really like it because like helping people and they're getting better is such a great feeling. So I want to increase that. Yeah, shout outs to my MetaFi. There's like one-on-one coaching or like coaching with like deck lists or playing. Doesn't matter what you need, you get everything from there. And yeah, in the future there will be more coming, like events or like streams. Let's see what's gonna happen. Yeah, and then shout outs to my friends and everyone who's testing with me. And yeah, shout outs to you. We can start.
Okay. But so I guess like we just hop straight into the list. So I've
Yeah.
seen that you've posted on Twitter that you are not a fan of Node, Cross, and Star in this deck. So I'm just wondering,
Oh,
like, I guess
mhm.
first things first. Are you playing like just Raziel Mitsurugi? Are you playing like Raziel Mitsurugi Fiendsmith?
So I started playing Mitsurugi like at the release before Habakiri and stuff, and then I realized Joel is too strong against this deck, so I put this deck away. And then after seeing that Habakiri and Aramasa and stuff comes out, I saw the value of the deck, and directly stick with the deck, and I love it. I tried every version, like Pure, Fiendsmith, and Ryzel. Every version is good, and every version has its up and downs. The thing about Ryzels is, I really like it that you get the consistency with the Ryzel cards, but like they are worse into Joel and worse into Perulia, where you can just beat Perulia with the normal Mitsurugi engine, so the opponent only gets 0 to 2 draws. Usually it's like one draw, so it doesn't really matter. And playing the Ryzel cards makes Perulia better against your deck. And Joel is also a bigger problem because like you never want to start with your Razier cards because you want to get the access to the Ritual Fusion, a Ritual spell, before getting Jolt, so you can extend from there. So like when you start X at Sword and get Jolt, the entire engine is shut down. So they're not really helping against Joel. They just help for the consistency and the going second ceiling, since X is insane going second. Yeah. So I figured out that there's no node cross and stars needed because like the combo plays really good by itself. It doesn't really lose to Joel to Nibiru, and it plays some weird cards like Serpent or the Trap or the Fiendswift Trap, like many possible bricks. So I wanted to reduce it. Since we don't really need them for the combo, they're nice to have. They make the boards better. They make the cards better. Like I want a consistent deck which also win without it. So I think it's not needed. They're nice to have, but not 100% needed. I will also show you some combos later on without the cards, and in the evening I will post a spreadsheet about the combos.
Hmm.
And yes, so I think the Riser cards are super good for consistency and solve some problems like Caesar. And they're super fine to play, but I don't really like the heavy Ryzel version, like the Ryzel deck with the Mitsu engine. I prefer the Mitsu engine over the Ryzel engine.
Hmm.
The people start playing like the Tachyons and the big Ryzel heavy engine. I think they're not super great into Droll or Rulia. Because like when you start with the Tachyon, for example, like everyone does, and you get Jolt on the edge, you still, I mean, you add Ice, but on the Jolt, and you can normal summon Ice, get Star, get the Field Spell, and summon Detonator. That's only one pop and one Monster Negate. And like in the mirror, they will push through it. Like there's no way you win with that, without any hand traps backed up. So I think it's not good enough. to play under draw, make the big Risey engine worth playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's fair. And you also
it's
said
like
that
it's.
you don't like Paradise either. Like if you played
I mean,
like
like
the Fiendsmith cards, you think you would just cut those?
the thing about Fiendsmith cards, I don't like the big engine of the Fiendsmith cards because you don't want to open them.
Mm-hmm.
You always want to access them because, like, when you open it, you're weaker into draw because you don't want to open them. And when you get drawed on Sarge effect, for example, then if you have another engraver in hand, it's like a dead card. Or if you get Fuvat and you start with like engraver, attract, Requiem and get Fuvat, like you're completely fucked into Fuva. So I always want to access them from the deck, check which hand traps the opponent has, like if he has Fuva or draw. So I never want to open them because they're weak into the good hand traps against your deck. And the trap is not needed. I mean, it's a cool card, but like as I said, same reason for note and stuff. Want to reduce the engine requirements and the bricks to have a more consistent deck. And the deck has a super high ceiling. I think the small interruptions are not 100% needed. If you play
Mm-hmm.
a big Fiendsmith package, of course the card should be in there, but like I prefer like a small Fiendsmith engine without any bricks, like one engraver, one lacrima, one sanct is super nice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Are you playing like the extra Mitsurugi monsters? Like I know some people in this deck they don't play like the Aramasa, Kusanagi, and they just play just the Saji. Do you think that's like
So
something that you've considered?
the thing is, like, I don't like the small Mitsurugi package because, like, it's in this version, this the deck is like a Ryzen deck with the Mitsurugi engine and not the other way around. I want to play Mitsurugi with an Ryzen engine, so I like drawing Mitsurugi Ritual with a monster, or like I want to start my Mitsurugi cards because they're super insane. And cutting Kusanagi or Amasa is not an option, especially Kusanagi is like it makes the ritual spell insane, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Aramasa is a good engine requirement, which is not a brick, and you need sometimes for like extra options. And playing a big Mitsurugi engine makes it way easier to play through stuff, especially going second and first. Because like no hand trap is really good against it, and if you have like the good starters or like the good combination of the good cards, like Mitsurugi Ritual plus a Ritual monster, you play through everything usually. So I want
Mm-hmm.
to get more Mitsurugi cards in my hand than like Rising cards. Like one Rising card is fine, but I don't like drawing multiples. Like I want more Mitsurugi cards.
Yeah, yeah. Do you just play like this Mitsurugi package then, or do you play like maybe like pre
I
prep or
just play
anything?
the big. Yeah, I play pre prep, Futsu, three ritual spells. Because like those are. I mean, pre prep is not that great against draw, but like you need some consistency, and the card is super good going second, and it's like another starter. If they don't open draw, pre prep is insane. I mean, like you have some hands where you draw the mirror plus the pre-prep happens. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think also mirrors like a super good card because it lets you play way better into cards like impulse or lets you extend better when you get ashed on Mitsugi, which is spell from deck. Like you can play super good around stuff. And even going second Futsu is an insane card, like in the mirror or against Malice. Because the deck's always summoning your own turn and putting Futsu on the board is a like higher pressure card. So I really like them.
Okay, okay,
And
okay.
Futsu makes your deck better against Nibiru,
Yeah.
because you get another name that get triggered when you get nipped.
Mm-hmm.
So
Uh,
I'm gonna I'll play like two Murakumo, one Futsu, three Ritual spell, and pre-prep package. So I would suggest here I would cut some. I like the Fiendsmith trap, one engraver. Like they're not needed. You don't want to start them. You just want to access them. You cut the Bestials, I think, because like they're good cards. Magnum is insane. Druce is also insane. But like you need cards that gets you value against every deck because you can only play like 14 to 15 non-engine, and I want to be every non-engines alive against every deck. Like Bestials are fine against the mirror, are fine against Malice because you can hit like Flash Mage, but like they're not super high impact cards. But I
mm-hmm.
prefer playing better cards against every matchup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same with Nibiru. Nibiru's dead against the Raisi version of Mitsurugi.
Yeah.
So, and that's the most famous version, so there's no way maining it. Yeah, pre-prep, so Mirror's missing in here.
Oh
And I
yeah.
just added as a 41th card.
And then,
Yeah,
do you main deck like Perulia? Since you're not maining that much non-engine, do you feel like maybe your
the thing
non-engine
is,
needs to be high impact?
I did it a long time, but like I was always not happy with Perulia because like in some hands it's insane, of course. When the opponent starts with X as only play, it's good, of course. But like it's bad against every non-Raisi version of Mitsurugi because like you get 0 to 1 draws, which is not great for a non-engine. It's not supposed to what happened with your because like you played not that many. You usually see 1 to 2 engine, and every non-engine should do something.
Mm-hmm.
And even against Malice, like when they start with field spell, you get 0 draws. They just do the small combo and you're -1. So I cutted it. It's super nice for consistency going second, but I think it's just too weak into those decks. Also, like the pure and the Fiend Swift versions of Mitsurugi are rising. I don't think it's a good main deck card. You can side it for like the Rising versions, but I think it's not needed. I think it's not needed.
Okay, okay. So like what non-engine do you think you would main deck? Cause right now, just like looking at the list, like obviously this isn't like your deck list, but you know
Yeah.
it feels like the non-engine and it's weak. And I know the engine is really strong and can play through boards, but do you think like that's enough, or do you think like maybe you
Um.
need droplet, or maybe you just like something more high impact, you know?
So I had different options. In the beginning, I started playing Thrust or Droplet, stuff like that. They're fine, but like Droplet, I don't like Droplets going second into boards when you get drolled, so you're non-engine instead.
Mm-hmm.
Droplet is super great. I love Droplet because like it solves a lot of problems. It's good in the mirror. It's fine against the Malice strategy. Like I, it has some downs because like when you play against Malice and he has the Ethicnister, the Link 5 negate, and you have
Mm-hmm.
Droplet, you have to send the monster with Droplet. Otherwise, they can just chain the Lingoribo in the grave and tribute their negate, so it cannot get touched from the Droplet. So like you cannot go prayers in draw phase, chain Droplet to negate the negate, because then they would just negate the prayers, for example, if they negate it, and you chain Droplet to negate his negate. He can just chain his Lingoribo with his Ethicnister, and Droplet is like -1.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not that great against this card specific because you have to send a monster, but it's super great in every other scenario because it's an auto Caesar. You can stop the Murakumo from the opponent. It's good against every deck. Like it's good going first because like Perulia or more Charm is like bad going first. So I
Mm-hmm.
really like the droplet over the Imperm. It's also a good card you can draw as a 6 card.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I would do that instead of the Imperm. Yeah, Imperm is also okay, but like it hasn't that much impact. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That card's definitely like low impact. It like I was gonna like when I was
um,
playing the Imperm, like in the list like 2 seconds ago, I was playing like more hand traps, so it made like a little bit more
mm,
sense. But yeah, droplet here,
um,
I like. And then do you? I feel like you like you're definitely not playing cross out, right?
the thing is, I'm trying it right now because like you can take out Ash, Droll, and Fuva going first, and even going second into the mirror. It's like super great card, obviously.
Mhm.
So you can definitely play it. If you It could also be something else, which is better going second, like a hand trap, since your deck is already super good going first. But that depends on the meta calls you want to make. Like if you play like a deck which is bad into Joel or like not that great with many Riser cards, you can still play like another card which is better going second. But like the card is also good going second because you can take out the Joel or the hand traps you're gonna throw at you with their board together. It's always fine to see, and I think it has to be somewhere in the deck because it's way too good the card. So to
Mhm.
hit Joel or Fuva or Ash, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then, do you think you'd main deck like called by Talons?
Cold Play for sure. Talents is like player preference. You can side it as a going first card because like you need some cards for going first. If you play like Charmies, for example, six Charmies in the main, you still have to find good cards for going first. So I like it as a going first card more because it doesn't have that impact going second against every deck. Because like usually Talents is super great, but like when you play against Malice, taking a monster off the opponent is not that great because like if you link it away, they can still access this with their reborn effects or banish it from their graveyard. You can look in their hand, but like they can chain their marcher. You can try to hit like a non-engine or something, but it's like a weird card playing into the board. It's always solid, but it's not game winning, you know?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think there should be something else. I like playing one nip in the main because I love accessing it with the Gallant Granite because it's super good having it this as a going first card to layer
Mhm.
your bot because like you can never die and like it makes your bot better against nip because like you go early into Gallant Granite at nip and they can choose if they want to nip you on Gallant, so they prevent your nip, or just wait and you still get your nip in hand and they never can kill you because like how can they interact with a card in your hand like nip and your Regeki and your negate or maybe like a detonator? It guarantees you that you don't get killed and the deck has a lot of follow-up resources. So I really love Nip, and it's like a good random card to draw during second, of course.
Yeah. And also, I've seen some people play duo in this deck, and some people don't. Like with the small Raziel engine. Do you think it's worth playing duo or not?
Yeah, I like it because like you can access it with when you, for example, start Habakiri Sensaji, then you go Richest Bear from hand, send the Serpent. I play the Serpent because I really love it under draw. You need that extra body. Also going second, like it helps clearing the board.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can access it with like almost summoning a level 4. You can send Aramasa and Serpent and Aramasa at Kusanagi. Kusanagi at back Ritual spell. Then you can make 2 level 4s into Dual Drive and access your Ryzel engine and go on from there. So I really like Dual Drive as an option.
Okay.
Because like the Ryzel cards are of course pretty good going first. They layer your board, detonator is insane. You can do like more stuff to play through hand traps or different things. You can bait the Nibiru with summoning Dual Drive, and you don't care when Dual Drive gets Nibiru because like you still have your Mitsu stuff. So it's super super great. But
Yeah.
I think you have to play Serpent in the main to make Dual great without um without Field Spell, Note, and Star.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
would try to fit in Gallant Granite in the
Yeah.
extra and Serpent in the main.
Okay. So, do you think maybe I cut like Babushka or maybe like Typhon?
Typhon wasn't needed for
Yeah.
me.
This card hasn't
Like
been
it
coming
has
up at all.
sometimes. Yeah, I like it as a break. Like against Fiendswift control decks, I like it because like you can summon it, clear the Caesar, then use it effect, bounce itself, so you don't your Murakumo can resolve somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Like never. I mean, it comes up sometimes, but like you have to value how often it comes up regarding to the other extra deck spot you would play instead. And
Yeah.
for me, it never came up more than my other 15 card. So Serpent has to be in here. I don't play the Raizi with the Fiendsmith, so I think it's either one of them because like you I mean it's great if you open ice, of course. But like I think you lose too much deck space here if you play both engine. And one of the engines is fine. Um both versions like pure with Fiendsmith or like the Raizi versions are good. Like the only ups and downs I always said was like the consistency and like the ceiling. Um, it's completely fine if you play the Ryzen or the Fiendsmith, but I think you cannot play both because it's take too much space. I mean, you can play one engraver in here, but I think it's not needed. It's only good when you open ice or no Ryziel. Like if I build a deck where I'm gonna add like 6 engine cards, I don't want to play a win more engine because like when my first engine is rolling and my Mitsurugi engine is rolling, I think I'm gonna win anyways.
Okay.
So I would
Okay.
I
So,
would decide here if I want to play Ryziel or the Fiendsmith because like both in one deck can be super cloggy,
yeah. 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 Yeah.
with deck space. I
So, do you think you'd play the Raziel cards or the Fiendsmith cards?
just played the Fiendsmith cards like the most. I really like it. I want to give the Ryziel cards more of a chance, even though the arguments with Porolia and Troll. because like sometimes you brick with the stack. It's like you play some weird cards like Serpent, like Kusanagi, Mirror. Like some hands don't let you play. So the biggest argument will be for the Rising cards the consistency. So I'm still gonna test which version I'm gonna play. I have 1 week left for that because like German Nets is next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Both versions are fine, so it's a meta call what you want to choose. Um,
Yeah, that's
so I
fair.
cannot really say which version is the better one. Both has its ups and downs, and there's no wrong version,
Yeah,
in my
yeah, yeah,
opinion.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, like when you play the small Fiends with package, you can play more non-engine, for example, because like the Fiends with package is 3 cards, are 3 cards, and the Ryziels are 6 cards. So like you can do some deck building things here. That's why I like the deck. You can do a lot with this deck, and no one is playing the same 40 cards and super boring. You can do so much with this deck, like also with the side. Like every 2 days, I'm gonna switch 1 or 2 cards and see. Oh, okay, this is another option. Of like many ways. That's why I like the deck, and that's why I think the mirrors are good because like everyone builds his deck different and everyone plays his combo different because you can do it with this deck, you
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah, I
So
really like that too. Like even just like looking
yeah,
at this build, like not a lot of people play like pre-prep, like Futso, like even just this. Like there's a bunch of like little changes that other people aren't really doing too much of.
yeah. I mean, like of course, pre-prep is bad against the best card against it, like Joel, but like you need some consistency, and the opponent doesn't always have Joel, and you need cards to push for going second. Like I think pre-prep is does this by itself.
Yeah, yeah. If they don't
And
have
if you only
Droll,
have
pre-prep's
pre-prep
the
as a
nuts.
starter, yeah, yeah, of course, it helps you against impulse, which is also annoying sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and mirror having mirror in the main deck is like a super good card to play through stuff or
Yeah.
make the boards better.
Yeah, it'll feel good too, like for German Nats. Like I'm not going to German Nats, but
Yeah,
like from my perspective, like I don't know if you have the same perspective. You don't have to share if you don't want to, but it feels like in Europe there's a lot of malice right now, so it feels like pre-prep will be pretty good because there's gonna be a lot of dominance impulse. It feels like.
yeah, I'm gonna expect a lot of dominus impulses, especially like when the people play the pure version, the
Mm-hmm.
most play impulse in the main. So it's like big contenders with impulse.
Yeah.
Um, so I think you really have to respect impulse. And if you get impulse on your first ritual spell and don't have any access to like any ritual monsters to summon, then you're most likely gonna lose because like the opponent can easily play through your board. So I want to have as many pushes as possible through impulse and Joel. Prep doesn't work against Joel by itself, but like in general into the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. So going first side deck stuff. Do you prefer maybe playing like Solemns, or do you think like maybe a Thrust package, or is there something even better?
The issue for me with the side deck was like I think the Frost package is super great because like you can set up the floodgates against every deck. But like I just figured out the side deck space is super tight, and playing like the Frost package deletes one spot in the side deck because like you play 4 cards for going first, for example, in this case, and you can only side in 3 against every deck. So like one spot is always dead against every deck because you
Hmm.
never never can side in both. And I needed every siding spot here to the best, cover the most decks the best. So Rust is fine, but I think it takes too much space. You can play Solims. For example, I'm gonna do like the talents in the side. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Um, I would do like the talents in the side, and also the gnome and the black goats. I think the gnome is super insane against the Resi version, but like against the pure version, if they play pre-prep or the mirror, which the pure version or defensive version does, the card is way weaker than barrier. Of course, you cannot hit Resi the entire deck with the card, but like you want a card that is good against everything, right? So like barrier is the most safer card. Because like you can also hit random decks with that, like Branded or White Forest, other cards in the meta. and you
Mm-hmm.
want your going first card to be good against every deck, especially at the national format, you have to expect rogue decks, and Barrier is super great against rogue, obviously. So I think Black Goat is also like a nice card, but like doesn't have enough impact to be played as your going first strategy. So I would just put in a Sanctum in here. If you play the Frost package, the thing about here is like we only play Fuvalos as a Charmy, so we can keep in the droplets as going first. It's not the best, but like they're not going first, that going first. So we only have to side out 3 cards, essentially going first, or
Yeah.
like 6 if you play against Malice, but like the draw exchange for the Lancea.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't need 6 cards for going first in this build.
Okay.
So
So
we can.
we cut like one thrust. So that way we always put in like Mitsurugi trap, thrust, and then whichever trap.
I'm a big fan of playing one target for the spell traps of Mitsurugi in the main because like you need something when you get Charmed, because you cannot do that much with the extra deck. So I want to access like an interruption, either the Magatama or the trap to be like when you get Fuvat, you will give them some draws. Like for me, it's usually 2 to 3 draws because I go into Granite. Because I think summoning Granite under Fuva is good because like you give one draw for a Nibiru in your hand, and Nibiru makes your bot way better. Even though as I said, like the layering of the board is way better and they cannot kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will give another draw for Habakiri, Granite, and most likely an IP because like I value each card by its own against one draw. I value like okay Nibiru against one random draw. I will value like Habakiri that will chain it, so I cannot decide if I want to use Habakiri or not. And like IP is also better than one random draw because like it takes the decks are not full of gas. Like they will draw duplicates or like will draw hand traps. They're not like any breaker spells like storms or snatch steal cards. They have not infinite gas, and the engine has to play through the things like IP into SP or Dynamondo is good against every deck. Ibiru is good against every deck if you have it at going first card because they have to play you through your board, otherwise you just win. So you always have to value one by one, like one interruption to one random draw.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I also like the Mitsurugi trap because like you can access and negate without summoning from the extra deck or deck.
Yeah. Oh, also, I wasn't saying to cut this. My bad. I was saying to cut a thrust down the one because like you said we need to side out 3 cards, and I was
Mm.
thinking like if we need to side 3, like assuming that we're not taking droplet out or anything, maybe we would cut one thrust. That way we side like one thrust, one Mitsurugi trap, and then
I think
whichever like floodgate of choice.
yeah, but when I play the trap in the main, there are always 3 cards in the for going
Oh, you're
first, right?
talking
Two
about playing
frost
this in
and
the main deck. Okay, okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, that's
okay.
why.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
like
yeah,
game
okay.
one, I want to be.
Yeah, yeah,
It's also good to stop the follow up of the opponent when you cannot kill.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 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 totally,
Um,
totally. Yeah, no, that makes sense for this build. We added like infinite Mitsurugi cards.
yeah.
Okay, okay, okay,
Um,
okay.
so now you have space for like some matchup specific cards. I think you can cut Perulia for like something better against the Risi version. I think you might try um there are more cards. You can play like Lightning Storm because I think Lightning Storm is super great against the Risi version because it
Mm-hmm.
takes out cross anti sets. When you have a card that baits the trap immediately, you're fine. You're good. Like when they side in the trap for going first and you have like any breaker, every breaker gets negated by the trap. And if they cannot set up the trap, you take out prayers and cross, which is super good for you because the board doesn't have like a lot of layer left. Everything you have to beat is on the board, like detonators on the board, Murakumo's on the board. They cannot start playing around with you. Like Murakumo can eat up all by one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there are different options here. I think playing Frustus, the good thing about playing Frustus, you have it as a going second card against control decks. Like if you play against Fiends with Control, you have Frust, you have another big out for Caesar, which is insane. Um, or like against control decks to search Duster or something, because like that's the upside of Rust, to have like the ability to play it as a going first card and a going second card against certain decks. It's a thing I really liked about Rust. You can do that, yeah. You can put in the third Rust.
Yeah.
The question here is, what do you want to beat? Like, which deck you expected the most? What is the worst matchup for your deck? Do you need something for like more against Malice because you always lose it because you cannot play the matchup really good, or in testing you always lost because you don't know the sequencing, or is the deck just weak into the deck? So I think
Um.
you have
Okay. Okay.
everything in here which is necessary, and the last three spots is like super depending on like how good you are into certain matchups, or like how you're gonna respect different decks. Like if you respect the mirror more, you put in a card against the mirror. If you respect like Rogue more, you put a card against Rogue, or like Memento, or like Mermaid. So it's super
Yeah.
depending on the player and his preference.
I would say like Mitsu Raziel is probably the deck like I would struggle the most overall with, and that's just because like
Mhm.
that deck going first is just absurd.
Yeah.
But
I think
but
before
it's definitely like breakable and stuff, but it's just getting hard because like the average players like learning how to Ouroboros and stuff now, so like they're actually learning how
mm,
to play it correctly.
I mean, like we can side in the Purulias to make their life harder, so they cannot just freestyle their combo and let's just like kill you. So they have to think and cannot completely explode. Um, the thing is, we have to solve the main deck first and then build the side, because like the side deck
Yeah.
is always depending on the main. So I think we never play 44 in this deck.
Okay. Okay.
So we have
Do you
to.
think we just
I
cut
mean,
the
like you can.
Raziels?
This is the point where you have to decide which engine, and then so let's say it's we cut either the Fiendsmith or the Ryziel, then we have space for other things left. Or we cannot really we can decide for one way. I don't care which way, which version you like more.
All right. I'm going with Fiend Smith. These cards are broken.
Okay,
Like
yeah, they're
I feel like
super
whenever
insane
I
on the
have Fiend
deal.
Smith cards in rotation, like every game is winnable somehow. Somehow.
Yeah. Um, we want more cuts against the Ryziel. Um, I mean, a card which is great is Delta, of course, because like you can stop the cards, the Ryziel searchers or like the ritual, because they always play one ritual spell.
Yeah.
The problem with Delta is it takes up 4 to 5 spots in the side deck.
Mhm.
So you have to make decisions here. What you want to cut, what do you value more?
Okay. So I
So this is
think
the thing.
yeah, I think we could probably cut this down to two then.
Yeah, we can cut this. That's now is the point where we see like the downside of Thrust, because like we play 4 cards for going first and can only use 3, so we lose one spot in there.
Yeah.
Or like if we play like a normal card for going first, we have like 3 spots left for any card in here. Um, that's why I think Frost is a super great card, but I think it's not good enough due to the space we lose playing
I think
Frost.
also like going kind of off what you're saying, but in the opposite direction, how you're saying like it kind of hurts our going first. I think it could also like help our going second. I think it really just depends on our side patterns though. But it's
Yeah,
also
the
a
thing
little
is,
bit hard to build side patterns while we're changing the list every 2 seconds.
yeah. The thing is about Frost, I wouldn't side it in the mirror, for example, because like you have already good cards in the mirror, and I
Hmm.
don't want to lose to draw. If they have like the full like a half board plus draw, I don't want to be my non-engine dead on the draw.
Yeah.
So I think we just stick on this list. Maybe we have to add 2 more cards. We can do the Purulia in here just to cover the Rizier version more.
Okay.
Um,
Side deck or main deck?
Main deck. We can just put them to, because like they're not bad, of course. It's still Purulia, and
Yeah.
when you play against the Malice version, they have to give you 3 draws or 4 draws when they normal summon and use Marcher and use the both Edicnista cards. When they want to end on the big field, if they decide to give you only 1 or 2 draws, then they only end on the normal board with like the Cryptor and the MTP07. So like Perulia's, it's a fine card. No, nothing against it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
only don't like it because it's not always does the best thing guaranteedly.
Yeah.
It's depending on the player and on the hands to be good or not. But when we want to focus more on the Ryzel deck, we have to play more cards against it, of course.
Yeah.
So when we played two Perulia in the main, I think, for example, Ash is a card which is okay going second. It's still an Ash. You can stop some things, but it's like I have the feeling it's more of a going first card than a going second card.
Yeah. I
It's solid
agree.
going second, but it's better going first. So we could also like fit in the third Perulia in the main and put one Ash in the side, for example. Um, it's both ways are fine. Like this is super depending on the player, what he wants the most.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess with this
so
little
there's
set, I'd
no,
probably want more Perulia.
yeah,
I feel
we
like
can
I'd
do that.
want more like a little bit more non-engine that's more high impact, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that. So
I
like
mean, there's a lot of
we,
like this is all basically high impact. Well, I don't know. Nib's weird because I know it's like known as a high impact card, but in this list it's like never gonna work
I mean
basically.
like if you don't draw it, you're fine, and if you draw it, depending on the deck you're facing, it's usually also fine because like it randomly pairs super great with like a draw or a Charmy or an Ash. So,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes if you play like against a deck, which is, I don't know, let's say it's not Raizio Mitsurugi, it comes up usually always because like when you play against a pure version, you can take out IP. If you play against the offensive version, you take out Moon. If you play against Melis, you can take out like 3 to 4 bodies to make their board weaker. Um, or like if you play against Memento, like you have some utility for it, and drawing it is okay. It's only drawn in one game. It's one off. It's a one off in the first game. Going second, you can draw. So it's like
Yeah.
super unlikely to draw it, and yeah,
Yeah, and also like going first, it's like a god card, and then yeah, going
yeah.
second, it's like
And
just
the
fine.
combos are based on adding Nip with Gallant Grenade
Yeah.
in this deck because like you want to layer your combos. So like when you go Gallant Grenade and they don't nip, you have nip in hand, and then you go Moon, they nip you, and you have nip in hand. But like if they nip you on Gallant Grenade, then you go Moon afterwards. So it's either having nip in hand or Caesar on board. So they have to decide. So nip gets worse against your deck.
Mm-hmm. Oh, also, have
Okay.
you ever considered like siding the Fiendsmith in Paradise for going first, or do you think it's just not worth it because of what you said earlier? Like it just plays in the Fua and having the bad cards.
Yeah, I think it's cool to have in the deck. Of course, the card is insane when you access the Field Swift cards. Like I want to have a consistent deck, and if the Field Swift cards are resolving and I summon Caesar among like other cards, I think I'm gonna win anyway.
Okay. Yeah,
So
that's
it's
fair enough.
nice to have, but like I prefer not drawing it, so I don't play
Mm-hmm.
it. So the side deck cards, what could be in here? I think if you want to play better against the Rising version, this might. I think we cannot put anything high impact in here to beat that specific deck with only like 1 or 2 slots.
Yeah, I feel like we've already hit it pretty hard now. Like we got like trolls,
Yeah,
all the charmies, droplet. We got storm, harpies, even
yeah,
thrust. Technically, I could put in. I guess. I guess it depends what
yeah,
outside out. But yeah, I feel like I have a good amount of cards against them now. It should be like fine. And
yeah.
I'm
I
playing
think so
and
too.
I'm playing like more pure Mitsu now. So this deck's just godly. I love Mitsu cards. They're so good.
Yeah. We could also put like another going first card in here to side out. We have 6 charmies in the main now, so we have to play 6 going first cards.
Yeah. Okay. So
So
we have like
the
Ash
ashes
of
are going first card. So
yeah.
this is 4. So we need 2 more. That's
So maybe
now we have
maybe
to cut
yeah. I was gonna
one.
say I feel like we'd cut the Rustlin if we were to play all
Yeah.
these.
So yeah. So we have like 6 cards without the thrust. So we could play Solemns, just 6 Solemns. I think warning is the best
You think Warning's the
because
best?
like I think warning is the best because like let's say we don't have an end board which is super great, yeah. But like
Yeah.
for example, we're getting drawled and a hand trap, and we have like a super weak board or end on nothing. And if
Mhm.
we summon one card, we usually die because like we already paid 4K, the board is empty. I mean, like if you have a half board or like a full board and solemn, you win anyways, of course. But like I go from the worst spot possible. Like let's say you bricked or you have like one play and it's get interrupted. I want the card to be carry the turn, you know. So like I think playing more warnings than judgment is just better because like you usually don't care about board breakers. The only argument for judgment would be board breakers, like storms or evenly or stuff like that, and you don't really care about storm. So I would prefer having Solomon only pay 2K, so it's harder for them to OTK than losing after activating judgment. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do you have anything like interesting in the extract that you're playing, like a rank 8 or maybe like a
Um,
random rank 6 or something?
Let me check.
Because it feels like this is like all you like really need.
One thing I really liked, so I put in a second moon and the liner. Like when we get nipped on the moon, usually there's Murakumo on the board
Yeah.
and moon. So like when they nip you, they nip the moon. So Murakumo triggers, destroys the nip. You get one token, add something of Murakumo. Then you go liner, steal the nip, and go another moon, and then go Requiem. This is something which is really great.
Yeah. That's funny.
So nip is like a -1 in this
Mhm.
case. Um, I think playing Goddess is super important in this deck because like you need something for Chaos Angel or like random stuff in the in Nationals format, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and it's super great in the mirror because like sometimes IP can take out like when they go Raigeki like with the Murakumo, you can chain IP. So Goddess take out their Murakumo and have Goddess as a negate for prayers is super great. And it's not that easy to out actually. It's 3K and you can only remove it with targeting, which is hard for Mitsurugi.
Mhm.
They have to take over it and they lost their Murakumo and you can negate prayers. So it's getting tough for them.
Yeah.
Um Last spot. I think it's Dark.
Dark. Okay.
Because like Dark helps you playing into the boards, either Mitsurugi or Malice. The Mitsurugi matchup, when they end, for example, on Futsu and have Murakumo in the grave, you need a card which baits out the prayers or the Futsu. So we can like we cannot really bait in this version the prayers or the Futsu. So
Mhm.
summoning Dark and he has to chain something on Dark, and if he destroys the Dark with like the Murakumo, you still get an add of it.
Yeah.
Um, and against the Malice matchup, you can take out. You can. In the beginning, I was like, okay, Dark is not that great against the Malice matchup because like if I use Dark on Cryptor, for example, they chain something and banish Cryptor, summon it back. Like you can either take their Lingo Reboot to negate MDPO7 or take out when you Regeki before Dark. You can take out their Link 5, summon it on your side, and threat and negate. Because like after that, you're gonna link Dark off with something else and summon IP, for example, next to the Enigmastics link. So you have a negate for their interruptions. So Dark is a super good card into the boards
Mhm.
right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think this extra deck. I mean, like you can cut the liner and the moon for something else. I don't know
Mhm.
if you always need Typhon against a specific matchup, put in Typhon. Or like if you like there are many ways. If you like, uh, what are other options? If you can play a rank 8, for example, like the Photon Lord. You
Yeah.
can put on some boards with Photon Lord as well. I mean, like they're fine, but like for me, it was like okay, Moon get always nipped. I wanted to have something. How can I protect my Fiendsmith engine? And if they nip your Moon, you're completely destroying the opponent. So the
Yeah.
deck gets kind of immune against Nibiru because they're never gonna nip Gallant Granite, and if you're fine, and when they hit Defensive Engine, you can just summon Moon again. And there's no way they wait for Requiem and all that stuff because like I think they're gonna think you. I mean, like when they nip the Engraver and the Necro Crypt, you have all that shit in rotation, and that's what I think he wants to avoid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, yeah, dude. They're not gonna expect the double moon technique.
yeah. I mean, you
uh,
play it because you can. You don't really need that much cards in the extra deck. You have like 3 to 4 flex spots in here,
mhm.
so I
Yeah,
think
no.
it's cool.
I'll try the line of moon, like the second moon. Like that sounds cool. That sounds like something that
Yeah,
like it like definitely will come up at some point. And then
100%,
yeah, and
100%.
then line is also like just another extra deck card that I guess could come up.
Yeah,
Probably not gonna
I
come
mean,
up in
like
that many spots, but it'll come up in the nib spot.
only with Fiendsmith cards, yeah. Since you don't have any lights besides the Fiendsmith, but like it can come up, of course, against
Hmm.
some weird decks.
Yeah, yeah. Like randomly take a detonator.
Yeah, for example.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Um,
I
is
think
it
this should be fine here.
okay? Sweet. Okay. Is there anything else you wanna say about the deck list here? Or any final changes you think we would make to it? Any suggestions?
Um, I would more talk about the flex spots here. So when people want to fit in certain cards they really want to play, I
Yeah.
think the flex spots are you can Ash in the side. I think it's not 100% needed in the main deck. You can put in the talents in the side because like it's super great against Joel, of course, and going second it comes up. It's not a bad card. You can either I mean like it's talents going second. Like you might want to have like another hand trap to so the opponent cannot play freely in his turn. So Ash talents his flex spot. Crossout you can also move to the side. You can cut the Sanct. The thing about Sanct is going second if you use Sanct, you're super restricted into OTKing your opponent. But like I love having it so Engraver is not a brick. And you could argue, okay, if you open Engraver or have Engraver, it's bad against Joel, but like there's no brick in there, so you have to decide either play the Engraver as a brick and it's better into draw your deck or going second because you don't want to draw Sanct. Um, yes, I think those are the flex spots. You can also go up to 41, which is fine because like you have some cards you don't want to draw in here. But I think playing 40 is super important because like you need to see the high impact cards like Droll, Fuva, Porolia, Droplet.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Siding patterns is like I always side out. So for example, I always side out the worst non-engine, which is usually 3 cards.
mhm.
Then I side out one trap. I side out the Sanct. I side out cross out. I side out cold, depending on the deck. You can side out one 3 prep. You can side out nip if it's not that good in the matchup. Like those are the cards I'm usually gonna side out.
Okay. Okay.
I wouldn't touch anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. I guess yeah. Going second. Yeah. You still want the Lacrima.
Yeah, it's super great for the Desiree line. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Yeah. I don't think I have any more questions. I think you answered everything. You went over everything pretty thoroughly. Explained it well. Okay. So, do you want to do any final shoutouts before we go?
Um, I can only shout out my Metafy again. Like we can either build our decks, your decks, or like play testing. If you're in trouble with certain matchups, we can discuss like tech cards. We can like anything you're struggling with. Um, and yeah, I would be super happy if one of you come up to me. You can just text me on Twitter, or like text me on Metafy, or just directly book and we talk. And yes, that's it from my side.
Okay, sweet. I'll leave a link to his Metafy, his Twitter, everything down below in the description so you can go ahead and check him out, get coaching from him. You know, he has 17 tops. Maybe he can share some tops with you. But
That would be amazing.
yeah, imagine, bro, you and your student, or like you and someone you coach in the finals of German Nats. That'd be insane.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, yeah, of course.
But all right, yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Thank you for doing this coaching with me. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you
Sorry
for the
for
invite. It was super
dodging and
nice.
being horrible with time multiple times. My bad. but
It's okay.
but all right, sick. That's it for the video. With that being said, the DB Grinder signing off. Peace. Have a nice day. Stay safe.
Thank you very much.
You're